Defensive line coach, Jess Simpson. Questions, Kelly?
Obviously, you had a veteran group move on and had to bring in some new players in the portal, and they're still developing a lot of young guys. How have the new guys fit in, and can you talk a little bit about some of the additions you made?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, you're right. We lost 4 D tackles that probably played 75-80% of our snaps a year ago. So added some new pieces through high school. Obviously a couple kids through the portal. What's fun is the culture of the room is still the same. A bunch of really good kids want to be coached, want to be told the truth, want to be coached hard. Really interested in player development. Appreciate each other, play well together. They've been fun to work with so far. Been excited about the 2 older guys, Tafik Thomas and Vince Jackson, both come in and done a really nice job. And you see the experience there. And then the young guys. Tim Griffin's come in and done good, and he's starting to learn what we do, how we do it, language, all that. It's brand new to him. And Christian Speakman, as a young guy coming in, has done a really, really nice job. Done a really, really good job on first and second down. I think he's got a lot of potential and a big upside.
Right.
Naturally, there's been a lot of talk about stopping the run.
Sure.
Coming from Coach Key. And, what are you seeing so far with this group, and has the schemes and so forth changed with the new defensive coordinator?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be very different. I think we're going to be very aggressive, which is exciting to me. Our ends are going to be a lot more aggressive in what we ask them to do schematically. I think the way we play our interior guys, a lot of same as, a little bit different. I think people like our style of play and how we play and how we hit blocks inside. I think it's hard to deal with at times. And those guys are learning and growing in how we play and how we play together. Obviously as a front 8 when we're getting guys and we're loading boxes. But so far, man, I've really been pleased with our development. Certainly like miles to go, nowhere near where we want to be. But it's fun to watch the detail, the intent, the competes and the toughs that these guys will show, like they want to play the game the right way. The details of how we play up front, our pad level, how we hit blocks, our eyes, our height, our hands, our hips, like what our footwork looks like. There's so many details. And then understanding ball, understanding situationally, understanding backfield sets, understanding tight end alignments, taking a picture pre-snap, trying to learn to be more than a line on paper, just in a playbook. You see some of these young guys starting to connect the dots. And all of those things go into being better at everything that we do. But to your first part of your question, I really am excited about the scheme and how it's going to feature our guys and what they do best.
Charles?
Yeah, Coach, you talk about some of the schemes and everything. I'm just curious, you talk about being aggressive, like more of a single gap scheme. Like, what are some of the benefits of going to something like that versus maybe like a 2 gap scheme?
Sure. I think I always say, I think you can take the hesitation out of your game. Your goal as a player is to put hesitation in the guy across from you. Your goal as a player is to, I always say, when you know, you go. When you think, you stink. I want these guys to go.
Yeah.
But I want them to go with fundamentals. I want them to go with technique. I want them to go with toughness. I want them to go with knowledge. And, this is going to be a go mode type front. All SD line coaches talk about base mode and this and that. And that's a part of who we are and our identity and what we do. But a big part is where we find ops to really be vertical up front. And I think the way we're going to feature these ends, the way we're going to feature our 3 techniques, I think they can really come alive for us.
Garrett?
Coach, we're going to talk to Christian Garrett here in a second. What have you seen from him just about his development and then the way he's just continued to grow?
Yeah, it's been fun. I think, Christian is probably really 100% healthy. First time he's been at Georgia Tech, coming off a high school injury. I think that's a big deal. Christian's body has completely changed in the last 4 or 5 months. I think a year ago this time he was in 250s and he's gained a lot of muscle, man. He's a good looking kid. Obviously he's had a position change. We're playing him inside and he is a big man who's an athlete, and those are the guys that I like. I love his athleticism, his ability and understanding to how to play on the interior. Playing inside is very, very different than playing on the edge. And the blocks that you get, where the blocks come from, sitting on 600 pounds of a double team, like there's some we got a lot of hard jobs that we do inside, and man, he has not resisted that. He is owning it, and every day you can just see like he took a step today. It's fun to watch. Like you can tell, but look in his eye, he wants to be great. He wants to be better every day. He's not perfect. You know, it's ebbs and flows with like every young player, but man, you know, he is on the right trajectory. His arrow is up right now. I'm excited about it.
Najeh?
Coach, you hit a little bit on the true freshman, Christian Speakman. So I just want to ask you, just how was that recruiting him? I know you played both sides of the ball at Marlboro High School, then coming in here. And
it was
then,
a very interesting eval. It's just really athletic kid. Has great eyes, and his hands, his hips, and his feet follow his eyes. Like he tracks blocks really well. He's big and he's strong in the weight room naturally. He understands how to anchor and fight pressure probably naturally. Where a lot, like some of this is like just like, you know, and these linemen probably don't get credit for the athletes and the coordination they have to have.
True.
But understanding how to feel and fight pressure is a big deal because of the hard jobs that you have to do. And he has some natural instinct. Getting off blocks, finding the football. You know, I don't know if you're going to see Christian Speakman starting on a third down package, but I'll be shocked if you don't see him on first and second down. So, you know, that's his goal. And he's pushing guys. And I am so excited we took him, man. I think he's got a high ceiling and a big upside.
Keller?
I think one of the things that's unique about this program, looking at practice, you see a bunch of former players and coaching staff. You obviously have Jason working with you now. Kind of what is that like, and how did he get into coaching with you guys this year?
We joked about it on the board. As a player, you know, most of you guys know J-Mo's story. You know, came here as a walk-on offensive lineman, and last year probably ended up playing, I don't know, played 25, 30 snaps a game. I made, you know, a self-made man, made himself a player. You know, he's always been quote-unquote G.A. J-Mo. I literally could walk out of the room and hand him the clicker as a senior in our room, and you know, he could run a meeting and coach guys. This is how we do it. This is what we should do. This is our communication. So I secretly, obviously, hoped the whole time that he would want to do this. I was smart enough to know that this guy's got 2 degrees from Georgia Tech. He's not enough to be a football coach. But we talked in December and January, and I said, hey man, you're natural and gifted at this. Whether it's good at football, smart at football, great in relationally, great communicator. The guys love him. The guys respect him. He can say hard things to him. And it's been fun to watch him. You know, he's got a lot to learn and a lot to grow, like any young coach. But he's way ahead of where I was when I was his age. And he is, you know, the thing you know is he's one of those guys. He's so consistent and so disciplined. You know what's important to him, and you know every day he's going to bring it. And really, it's fun to have him in the room. I think it's a real level of comfort for our former players. I think he's doing an unbelievable job of speaking into the new guys of this is who we are. This is our culture. This is how we do things. This is how we work. That's not good enough. This is what it's supposed to look like. So as a coach, you always want somebody to be able to come behind you, and it's a different voice of saying the same things, maybe in a little different way, but getting the same message across. And he's really excited he's in our room.
Charles?
Yeah, because I want to ask you about Tafiq and guys like Vincent. Like when those guys coming out of the portal, and you mentioned those guys being guys coming in and kind of establish themselves. Like how do you, and talking about Jason Moore or Vandenberg losing all those guys in the middle, like how do you, I guess, foster those guys to kind of come in to kind of help the young guys kind of come along?
I think it's the art of teaching and coaching. It starts with connection. It starts with everybody in that room knowing that you care about them more than what they can do for you. You're in it for more than just ball. Like we're going to do life together. This is a hard game. We're going to have some hard days together. Like that's what this is. I think it's a credit to the guys that have been in the room. Shamik, Landon, like those guys are great dudes, embracing them, bringing them in, like teaching them what we do and how we do it. Not being afraid of competition. I can imagine in a lot of rooms around the country that I don't want you here, you know, and that isn't the case at all here at Georgia Tech. These guys have embraced these new guys, and that's as a, you know, I'm an old high school coach. My sons play for me, and we have a locker room full of guys that you want your kids to be around. That's the kind of guys we have, and you can't fake that. Kids walk in and they see it, they smell it, they sense it. You can't fake it. It is what it is, and that's what we have here at Tech, and that's what makes it so much fun. That part has been easy. And not that you can ignore it and just hope it magically happens. You have to be strategic, but when the right people are in the room, it's not as hard as you might think.
Najeh.
Coach, obviously, I know it's still early. I know you're still going through the development phase, obviously, with this group. But where do you want to see this team, this defensive line, just at the end of spring?
The destination for me is just we're better. The destination is those guys beginning to see the greatness that I see in them and what they can be, and go, oh, my job is to give them a vision for what it can look like. It's their job to own that standard and go get it and realize how far it is we have to go. But their hope every single day that we can get to where we say we're going. That's the goal for me. When you walk in, you know. And the standard for us and what we want to be is way, way out there. So me then, like, what did we do today to get an inch closer to the end of that and where we want to be? And that's the beauty of coaching. When you stay in the moment and the kids believe that and they see a vision for what it can be, they watch each other. We have as much fun, like, these guys compete every day to create what we call teach tape. And who's got the most teach tape? And we go back and watch, like, hey, watch your brother do this. Watch this effort. Watch this guy play this double. Watch this guy twitch up here in move mode. Watch this guy's get off on this U game. And they celebrate each other. And I think when you have teammates and brothers celebrating each other, then also them learning from each other. I tell my guys all the time, I learned as much in the NFL from the players as I ever did from the coaches. And they learn from each other, from their good and from their bad. It ain't all good for sure, right? And then it's a room of, hey man, hard or easy, truth or lie. And I want a room that's going to pick the hard every single day and going to pick the truth. And we talk about that. And there's a bunch of truth tellers in that room. And it's going to be honest and it's going to be hard, but we're going to act like men. And that's how we're going to grow. And so that I am in such a great environment, like, that I get to teach and coach in. And just being honest, being selfish, man, I'm here at home in Atlanta, and I'm near my kids and my grandbabies and my mom. Like, this is a dream for me. I pinch myself every morning, man. I'm in a great spot with great kids.
Yes, sir.
At my stage in my career.
Jordan Vandenberg has a chance to get drafted next week. Be the first South African player ever drafted.
There you go.
But what has he meant to your program, and what is he going to bring to the NFL?
So what JJ brought to us is the essence of when you walk in our room, there's a competes and tough chart. Your urgency, your strength, the detail in your work, your physicality. Like he literally tried to embody, and wasn't perfect at it, but boy, he raised the bar for what a tough guy, what a worker. Like his physicality was real, and it was, and he was a guy that was for everybody else too. And he was a guy that's going to pour it out. And Georgia Tech Forever will show highlights of J.J. Vandenberg running down, being a stack monster, finding the ball on the perimeter, and doing stuff like that. And it's fun to watch. And when you have guys play that way, it's so much louder than what I say as a coach or what we say to each other. It's watch the tape. That's who we are. That's how we play. And I think everybody the last 2 years saw what he did. And good for him, man. He deserves everything he's about to get. And I think something really good is going to happen for him.
Anything else for Coach? Appreciate it.